Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we're looking at A Touch of Ink. It's a new stamp set which you can earn with a qualifying purchase from the 5th of January, and it's in the Sale-a-bration brochure. Now, we had a look at it the other day using the butterfly, and today we're using the lovely hummingbird and one of the flowers, and we're going to use various different techniques on it. So there's hopefully something for everybody in this one, but I absolutely love this stamp set. I really do. We're using a multitude of different colors. So we're using some Pacific Point and some Granny Apple Green. We're using some Flirty Flamingo, some Pool Party, and some Smoky Slate. So lots of colours, but you'll see why as we sort of progress through with the card. So to start off with, we need a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and we're going to take the hummingbird. And as I did before, I'm going to build the scene first with the outside images, and then we're going to fill them in with the colours. So it's a two-step stamp, which is absolutely lovely. I do like two-step stamping because it means that you don't have to spend a lot of time thinking about the colours, but we are going to do something different with the hummingbird. So we're going to start with a good black ink, and we're going to ink up the image, and then we're just going to put it down in the top corner. So just like that in the top corner. Beautiful, beautiful detail. I really love the images in this one. I really do. I think they are just beautiful. And with it being Sale-a-bration, they are limited. So they are only going to be available for a short period of time, as I said, with a qualifying order. So if you like them, you really need to get an order in sooner rather than later, because I really think that these are going to be exceptionally popular. Now we're going to take the floral piece, and this floral piece we are going to, again, we've got the outside piece, so you can see on here, these are the outsides, and that's the fill-in. That's the outside of the hummingbird, and that's the fill-in. So we're doing the outside pieces first because it's easier to build the scene that way. So again, ink it up, and we are going to put the first one down at the top, and I want to try and get it so it is just sort of coming down from this top corner, and I want the hummingbird to sort of be in between a flower, as if it's sort of going to have a little sip of the nectar from the flower. So I'm just sort of putting it down, and then we've got its little beak coming in. Now I want to continue this down the side, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a scrap, really doesn't matter what it is. So this is just a scrap piece, and I've used it for one earlier, and we're going to ink it up again, so you don't have to worry about the inking up. And then we're just going to put this in on the tip of the one underneath, because I want the flower part to come through, but I don't want too much of the stalk. So I'm just going to put it in like that, press it down well, pick it up, and it means that when I take this off, you can see that the flower is coming down. And then we're going to do one more right down at the bottom. So again, I'm just using just a piece to mask it off, and we're going to have the flower part coming in. I just want the bottom part of the flower, so I'm literally just putting that one in like that, stamping it out well, lifting it up. I've got a little bit missing on that part, but we can fill that in. If you use copy paper, you don't tend to get the line part, but as I say, it won't matter too much because we'll be colouring in those bits, and the coloured part will just allow that to go in all right. Okay, so I've cleaned that one off. And then we need to have a sentiment. So I'm going to choose, I think we're going to have best wishes on this one. So let's have a look and find best wishes. There we are. Lovely sentiments in this. A complete array. Best wishes, thank you so much. Hope, love, thinking of you, hello friend. So things that will cover a lot of occasions. So I'm just going to put this down on this block like this. Because it's photopolymer, it's see-through, so it means that you can line it up quite easily. So it doesn't matter if you put it off at a bit of an angle, because where you're going to put it will come perfectly. And I'm going to have it about there, I think. So we'll just put that in like that. So we've got the best wishes in there. So that's all of our outline done. Just clean this one off again. And then what we need to do is we need to start filling it in. And this is where we can have some fun with it. So we'll do what I call the easy one first, which is just going to be one colour, which is the flower. And the flower is going to be using, let me get that part out. So the flower is going to be using the 2 steps, so the second part, which is the fill-in, and then I'm just going to put that in on there, and we're going to use the Flirty Flamingo for this one. So just going to ink this one up, and as I say, I tend to do it both ways just to make sure that I've inked it up nicely. And then we can start at the top, and you can see as you sort of turn it round, you can see exactly where it's going to go, and it will come slightly over, but that's fine because that's part of this sort of watercoloured look. So that's our first one. Do it again, and again I'm doing it the other side because it's got this light and dark variation on it, which is rather nice. So again, just turning it round, you can see fairly easily where it's going to go. And then we can just put that one in over the top of that one. And then we've just got the one down here at the bottom. So I'm just going to ink that up again. And this one is going to have the little one. Now I need to put my piece over here, because I don't want it to come in over the 2 pieces, and I'm going to take that out just round where I want it, like that. And then I am going to try and just rock it up a bit, because I want to try and get it to go into that little space bit in there. I've got quite a bit of, let's see if that will work. Not quite, not quite. We can do it again. And I'm going to try and do, right, I'm going to take a piece of, this is just copy paper. So if I put that at the bottom, this is going to come out a little bit darker, but that's fine. So we can then put that on there. And we want this bit up here to just, there we go, just bring it in, and then that takes it just a little bit higher. So you've got the different sort of variations of colour. So you can stamp over it again a few times if you want to, and you'll get, you know, a stronger colour or a lighter colour depending how you want to go. Now the hummingbird, because hummingbirds are not just one colour, we're going to do some fun things with this hummingbird. So let's put the inside piece of the hummingbird in now. So I've got this on here. I've already got those pieces out. Okay, so let's put this one back in here, and we'll take the inside piece of the hummingbird. Put that back in there, and then we can put that on here. Now, this one, we're going to do it in 2 colours. So I'm going to do it in Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to do it in the Pacific Point. So the Granny Apple Green is a lighter colour than the Pacific Point, or isn't quite as dark. So I'm going to start with that one first, and I'm literally, with a sponge dauber, going to just sponge all over the stamp. Now, using a sponge dauber, it will come out a little paler, but that's fine because we're going to do it twice. So the whole lot's going to go over in the Granny Apple Green. Make sure you get up to the edges. Then we're going to take out the Pacific Point, and we are going to just put some in over the top of what's going to be the head. Let's make sure I'm doing it in the right one. So a little bit on there, a little bit up on the wings, and you can do it whichever way you want, just sort of a little bit here and there, a little bit over on the top of this one, and a little bit just on the outside there. Okay, so you can, as I say, you can build it up as you want. Then we're going to get our hummingbird out. We're going to line it up. So you can line it up quite easily. Put it down and just press it down, and you'll have a 2-tone effect that'll come out. So that, you can see, is quite pale, but we can then go over it again. So I'm going to do some more green in on the centre, because I want that green bit to be a little bit more vibrant. So I'm just doing that, and I'm going to take this back and line it up again, and then just put it down, and you will find that the green is now coming out a bit. And then I want just a little bit of extra blue just on the top of the head. So I'm going to do this bit again, just with a bit more. And I might do this top piece just down here, just with a bit more. So just those bits. Then we can take it back again. And because it's a fairly easy thing to line up, you can take it back in on there, put it down again, bring it up, and you now have this beautiful 2-toned, with lots of different sort of blends of that blue and green for the hummingbird, which I think makes it look really rather beautiful. So that's the filling on there. So I just need to clean that out. And you can do as many colours as you want, really, as long as you use colours that aren't going to muddy. So, you know, the Pacific Point, I wanted it to blend through nicely with the Granny Apple Green, but I didn't want them to be too bright together. So, similarly to how we did the dragonfly with the watercolouring, this is just doing it with your sponge daubers. Okay, so now we can put the filling of this in. Now, we've got quite a lot of white space in here, and we want to sort of change that around a bit. So I've got in here, there is a lovely little speckledy piece. So this little speckledy piece here, and we're going to use that. It helps break up the cards. So we are going to use for this the smoky slate, because I really like smoky slate. And we're just going to put a couple sort of down here. just sort of bringing it up in just a little sort of roundy piece. And then I'm just going to make sure that it's in on the other side, just going to add a little bit in between on there, and then just a little bit on there. Okay, so you've now got just some nice little sort of speckles coming through, which breaks up the area. Now, the sides of the card as well, for me, are just a little bit plain. I want to just jazz this up a little bit, and I'm putting it on a background of smoky slate because I wanted it fairly neutral. Black, I think, was going to be a little dark. I will show you on the black, but we can do the black afterwards if we want to. So I'm now going to just bring those edges in a bit. I'm taking the pool party. I'm going to take a piece of just copy paper scrap and just put that underneath so I don't get all of my surface mucked up. And we're using the blending brushes. I'm just loving these. And they are, you look at it and you think, oh, it's a sponge. It's not. They're actual bristles. Really fine bristles that are so close together. It's quite a strange feeling. As I said, these are the first ones I've used. So I'm using Pool Party, and with this we are literally just going to sponge around the sides with the Pool Party. So just pick up the colour and bring it down. Now I do like these blending brushes because they are very soft, which means that it gives a soft background instead of a too, you can get a bit of a blobby background sometimes if you use the sponge daubers. And as I say, I do like using the sponge daubers, but I am finding that these are just beautiful. So we're just taking a bit of colour just in on these centerpieces. A little bit more in that corner. So we're just going round the edges. And as I say, you can use sponge daubers, you can use just sponges, you can use anything you want really, but I am finding that these sponge daubers are great. And I don't keep my ink pads overly juicy because of stamping, so you know they are bringing in a really rather nice colour in there. So that's just blended it round on the side. I'm just going to bring it out just a little bit more, just in on this centre bit here, just because I want to have that little bit more of a colour coming through. And then we are just left with putting it on. Take those out. So I'm going to put it on a smoky slate background because I put the smoky slate in. Oh, that's not a cut right size, is it? That's better. So it's going to go on a smoky slate background like that. And then it's going to go on to, let me have a look and see. I've got a white card base here. Then we're going to put it onto a white card base like that. So you have this rather beautiful, beautiful card with the toning in of the hummingbird and the beautiful flowers. Now, one thing that you can add in on the centre of the flowers, I've just got one of our Stamping Right markers. So I am going to just add a little bit of yellow just in on the stamens here. I'm just taking it down, and then I'm going to go back and go over it again because I want it to be as yellow as I can, because obviously we're doing that over the pink, but it just gives that little bit of extra colouring on there. So it is all a one layer card, But again, a beautiful scene, and how pretty, using this lovely A Touch of Ink. As I say, it's available the 5th of January. It is going to be just during the Sale-a-bration catalogue, so it's not around for a long time. But if you fancy doing, there's so much that we can do with this one. Lots of different ideas with it. Then, you know, get your orders in at the beginning of, or on the, after the 5th of January. If you haven't got a catalogue and you would like one, if you haven't got a demonstrator, then please get in touch with me. Put a comment down below, or just message me, and I will be happy to send one out in the post. So thank you so much for watching me. As always, please stay safe, please stay well, and please be kind. Bye-bye.